lunch and breakfast snack prepared today?
It's 7 o'clock on a Tuesday morning, and William Cole is packing a cooler full of lunches.
One of our first stops will be right here at I-40 and 4th Street. We got a guy right here we can get. Morning, sir. Morning.
Twice a week, Cole drives a van looping through Albuquerque's busy streets.
We're looking for panhandlers, homeless people, anyone who looks like they're interested and need help. How you guys doing?
Nearly everyone William approaches gets in the van. The aim is to get them off the streets and to a city job site where they'll pull weeds and pick up trash, including items left by fellow homeless.
What they're doing is refuse removal and getting rid of weeds, overgrowth, and just trying to beautify the city.
They work hard for 5 hours. Some come back week after week. The pay is $9 an hour, $1.50 more than the...
I found out she had passed away early Sunday morning. I got a knock on the door, and there was 2 sheriffs and a guy in plain clothes. And it didn't even cross my mind that that's what they were here for. And they came in and, can you sit down? I said, sure, what's going on? And as soon as he said, we got a phone call from a detective in Florida, I knew, and I lost it. It's the most horrible feeling you'll ever have, and I don't think that I can ever be hurt like that again. Good morning.
When Michelle Curran learned that her daughter, Micaiah, had died from an overdose of the opioid carfentanil this past summer, her 2 grandsons, Lane and Reed, were still asleep in a room down the hall. She and her husband, Chuck, had been caring for the boys while their mother bounced in and out of rehab. It was supposed to be temporary, but Micaiah's death turned it into a permanent arrangement. From that moment on, the simple act of waking the boys in the morning would take on new meaning. Michelle would have to do it not just as grandma, but as mom. The natural space that usually exists between a grandparent and her grandchildren was gone.
It's hard to explain, it really is, because it's so devastating, and I don't think I'll ever be the same. I know I won't be. And it's all at one time. So I have this brand new responsibility. Not only do I have to bury my daughter, but now I have to explain to the boys why mommy's not coming back, and I have to take on that responsibility of now I am mom. Hold on, buddy. Okay. Someone forgot yesterday.
Oh, yeah, because you didn't tell me to.
For 47-year-old Michelle and Chuck, who is 63, it's back to making lunches, remembering play dates, taking care of school assignments, taking care of everything.
I mean, I'm still grandma to them, but now I really am taking on the role of mom. And it's not fair. It's not fair to those boys.
Lane is 7. He's a high-energy, boisterous kid with an insatiable need for hugs and kisses. Lots of them. Reed is 2 years younger. He's quiet and laid back. His grandmother describes him as a little old man trapped in a 5-year-old's body. They are among the thousands of children who have been affected by the widespread abuse of opioids that has pushed U.S. overdose rates to all-time highs. Traumatized by the mayhem of growing up with addicted parents, watching their mothers and fathers use drugs and OD. These children are often living in conditions which, when described, are painful to hear.
There was not one stitch of food in that apartment. Nothing. Piles of trash. Trash littered all over the floor. There was like these milk jugs, and they were filled with vomit.
Ew.
In Vermont, the number of children entering the custody of the Child Protection System grew by 40% between 2013 and 2016. In West Virginia, the number of children in foster care grew by 24% between 2012 and 2016. And here in Ohio, Opioids are the main cause of a 19% increase in the number of kids placed with relatives or foster homes since 2010.
Ben is so empathetic and he is so kind. We can always depend on him to be in a good mood. He is always up and bubbly. He makes everybody laugh.
Stephanie Horton and her husband Doug first met Ben when they became his foster parents in 2009. He was a newborn going through painful withdrawal symptoms. Both of his biological parents had abused heroin, and Ben was born addicted to the drug. His mother dropped out of the picture early on, but his father, David McIntosh, got clean and regained custody of Ben when he was 20 months old. Stephanie stayed connected, helping out with babysitting. But it wasn't long before David relapsed. Ben began sharing alarming stories of life at home with a man he called his other daddy.
So he would go and tell his preschool teacher that his other daddy would tie a rubber band around his arm and use a spoon, and then he would be asleep, is what he would say. He would get really, really sleepy, and he would say, and I would try and wake up my other dad, but I couldn't wake him up. And he just wanted, he would say things like, I just wanted to be stronger, I want bigger muscles. So when I shake him, he'll wake up.
At home, Ben's dad would often sit him down to watch horror movies. The scenes would leave Ben so terrified and transfixed that he wouldn't bother his father while he was using drugs. It was 18 months before the Hortons were able to regain custody. They officially adopted Ben last year and are raising him along with their 3 biological children. This past spring, Ben's birth father died of an overdose of fentanyl and morphine.
Here's my other daddy and me, and that's me eating a donut, and then that's me and my other daddy looking at a comic book that I still got out here. My other daddy gave it to me.
This 4x6 photo album, filled with pictures from his last supervised visit with David, is all Ben has to remember him. His mother, Stephanie, says she can already see some of Ben's memories with him starting to fade. But the trauma of those last months with his father, the effects of watching him in the throes of addiction, will be long-lasting. Ben suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder, bouts of mania and aggression. Without medication, he has trouble sleeping through the night, and his early exposure to horror films has made it hard for him to tell the difference between fiction and reality. The experiences have all blended together. At times, Ben can become so obsessive about his interests, from superheroes to Harry Potter, that he alienates other children.
Everything that he wants to do is big. Everything is very intense. Whenever he makes a birthday wish, whenever he has any type of wish or anything that he does like that, it's always to be strong, to have muscles. Because that was the experience that he had, was when people are laying down, they might not get up. So I need to have bigger muscles and I need to be stronger.
This is Avengers chocolate milk that I used to call Avengers chocolate milk. But it's just Wager chocolate milk, because now I understand it's just Wager chocolate milk. And I used to think if I drink this 100 times, I'll turn into a superhero, but now I don't believe that.
Ben's history, the trauma inflicted on him at a young age, will haunt him for years.
The way that he looks at and sees the world is affected because of that. And that, as a mom, as his mom, has always immediately caused anger in me and frustration and resentment of everything I see him struggle with.
This one looks nice. Jolly, jolly snowman. Best time of the year.
Who knows what'll happen down the road, but I always have that fear in the back of my mind, or one of the boys going to become, addicted to something. And I have to cross that bridge, unfortunately.
Back in Pataskala, both Lane and Reed seem to be adjusting. They've gone to counseling and done well. Still, with the holidays, they're first without their mother. It's hard. So as a way to remember her, the boys turned sand dollars, which Micaiah loved, into ornaments for the tree.
Did Mommy like fish too?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm learning. Because I was making sure so I could do it.
Oh, yeah. Mommy love that.
For Michelle and Chuck, the goal is simple. Take things day by day and soak up every minute, even though at times it's in the sweetest moments that they realize their biggest fears.
They'll crawl up in the chair with me and sit with me. They do that all the time. We've kind of outgrown that oversized chair, so we have to look for something like a love seat or something like that where all three of us can fit in there. But I've always believed that the critical time for children is in their adolescence through their early teenage years, where they're the most vulnerable, I guess, to things that
Let me guess, you guys are gonna handle all my calls like you have been.
get them through that stage of life. We welcomed our elf by